New Buy Sell Keep Avoid is back for Game Week 30. Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan. The international break is almost over. I've just come back from a holiday in sunny Scotland and also we're in the new setup finally. So guys, let's take a look at some transfer tips ahead of the big Game Week 30. We're back, baby. So not only are we back on FPL Mate, but also the latest Stick to FPL podcast just went up today for Game Week 30, where we talk about whether you should be wildcarding in Game Week 30 or 31, as well as having a look at some chip strategies and all those players from Newcastle and Crystal Palace. So go check it out using the link in the description if you want to. So this video will be split into two parts, the first of which we will have a look at those players you may already have in your team and which ones you should keep and which ones you should sell. After that, we'll be looking at new players for your team, which ones you should buy and which ones you should avoid. Players will be tier listed with the best players at the top and the worst ones at the bottom. And just to be totally transparent with you guys, obviously a lot of information we are still waiting for from the FA Cups to give us a better idea on who will have blank game weeks in Game Week 34 and therefore who is likely to have double game weeks in Game Week 33. But we are still going to try and help you out with a refresher today and kind of give you some ideas of who is likely to double, who is not going to double, and hopefully we'll still have some really good stuff in this video for you. But obviously, depending on your chip strategy and depending on FA Cup results, you might find yourself wanting to do slightly different things. So the order might be good for some people, but not for others. Some players here are just going to be a great buy no matter what you're doing, whether you just free hit it, whether you're wildcarding right now, whether you're waiting till next game week to wildcard. Hopefully, we've created a pretty balanced video today. So yeah, let me know if there are any questions based on your specific circumstances. I'll do my best to help you guys out in the comments. I'm pretty good at replying to comments generally, so yeah, keen to get some support there. But right, let's have a look at the forwards first of all that you may already have. First of all, Mateta, there is no way you should be selling him. He is back in training already. We've got this great fixture against Southampton, then Brighton at home, which is kind of a medium fixture. But we've got that guaranteed Game Week 32 double game week against Man City and Newcastle, with a possible double game week in 33 as well for Crystal Palace. So Mateta really does look like the best attacking asset from Crystal Palace that everyone is going to be on within the next week or so. So if you have him already, you're already ahead of the game. There's no problem with the injury. He is back in training, so we are feeling very optimistic that he is going to be available for Southampton in Game Week 30. Also, if you have Erling Haaland in your team, definitely would be looking to keep him and maybe even captain him against Leicester at home, particularly if you don't have Salah in your team. Maybe you sold Salah recently, or you do have Salah and you want to take a bit of a risk. Haaland, definite keep. A player to think about captaining this week as well. And Wissa, if you have him in your team, 3 goals in the past 4 game weeks, that's pretty decent stuff. And even though Newcastle away doesn't look like a great fixture on paper, Brentford actually have really, really good away form at the moment. They've won their last 5 games away from home, so far better away than at home at the moment. And also Newcastle, they're really not a top defense at the moment. They're kind of a mid-table defense right now. So actually, this is going to be a really nice opportunity for an informed striker like Wissa. Of course, after that, depending on whether we have double game weeks or not for Brentford, it may be that Wissa is the kind of player that might be sold in the near future. But as for right now, I think he is one of those players I would prefer to keep. Let's move on to the monitors next. João Pedro is pretty close to being a keep. Aston Villa at home is a pretty good fixture with them usually pretty weak defensively. And João Pedro, being a player on penalties, is always going to have that opportunity. He's obviously scored a few FPL points recently. Although, again, a lot of that has been penalties, but they all count the same, right, guys? After that, we've got Chris Wood. Little bit of concern here, I think, because even though the report from yesterday looks reasonably positive on Wood, actually today it turns out that he's not going to be available to play in the FA Cup semi-final this weekend. Well, quarter-final, should I say, this weekend. And therefore, maybe that casts some doubt as to whether he is going to be available to play for Game Week 30, because obviously that fixture is coming up reasonably soon. That's a Tuesday fixture in Game Week 30. So there is some concern there about Chris Wood. One to keep an eye on over the next few days. He may end up being a player to sell, but at the same time, he could be a keep as well. So difficult to say right now, but we'll find out soon, I'm very sure. We've got Watkins here as well. Minor issue for him as well. But I think generally, I don't think you have to sell him. I'm sure there's lots of other forwards you would prefer to have. Brighton and Forest, not the best next two fixtures. But from Game Week 32, we've got Southampton away. And actually, the likes of Man City and Aston Villa are by far the most likely two teams to have a double game week in Game Week 33. So actually, depending on what your strategy is, if you just free hit it, for example, and you have Watkins in your squad, you might want to keep Watkins in your team all the way until Game Week 34, where maybe you wildcard him out at that point. Because I think he's going to be a pretty popular asset, particularly for those maybe wildcarding in the near future or maybe free hitting in Game Week 33. Watkins could be the guy for that particular game week. And we've got Gakpo here finally. Next two fixtures, kind of rough. No double game weeks on the horizon for Liverpool right now. So therefore, he is a player you could much more easily sacrifice. A couple of players to sell here if you do have them. Raul Jimenez and the Fulham guys in general. They've had all of their good fixtures. Next up, Arsenal and Liverpool back-to-back, even with the potential double game week in 33. We're probably looking at selling players like Raul Jimenez right now, so he would be a good player to sell. And Beto, similar situation, but even worse. The fixtures are even worse. There are no double game weeks for Everton. Very, very easy and simple sell, particularly if you can afford to upgrade. We'll talk about some replacements, but there are some cheaper replacements I want to talk about as well today. And Cunha, he has had an additional game added to his suspension, so not only is he going to be out for Game Week 30, but also Game Week 31 now as well. So just to give you a heads up on that one, it's not like you only need to hold on to Cunha for one more week. It's going to be 2 weeks. Of course, if you are, again, wild carding in Game Week 31, then these kind of players, you could maybe just bench them this week and then just replace them in your wild card. But you guys are going to have to kind of read between the lines a little bit here, again, depending on your strategy. But again, we're doing our best out here. I know everyone is on very different pathways. So really easy keep at the top of this list. Bruno Fernandes is one of the most popular midfielders that are being sold right now, actually. I think that's because a lot of people are looking to bring Salah back into their team potentially. But with the form that Bruno's in, despite the difficult fixtures over the next few game weeks, he's been in such good form that you do kind of want to back him. Now, he is overperforming his numbers massively with 3 goals from 0.88 XG and 4 assists from 1.27 expected assists. Is that sustainable? I don't know. But when a player is in great form, it's usually a good idea to just stick with them. That's not to say Bruno is a buy, but we will come to that when we get to the buy section of the video. We've got Brian Mbeumo here as well. Again, another player to keep that I wouldn't necessarily buy because of the fixtures. Of course, both Bruno and Mbeumo, penalty takers with potential double game weeks on the horizon. We'll wait for more information about whether we should be keeping these players longer term or not. But for now, I think they're good to stay. We spoke about Newcastle being, a mediocre team defensively right now. And we spoke about Brentford's away form. So again, that goes in favour of Mbeumo. And Bowen here is a pretty interesting one as well. If you do have him, the next 2 fixtures actually not too bad. Wolves away, Bournemouth at home is a pretty good fixture as well. What Bournemouth do in attack is kind of different from what they do in defence. They're a very good attacking team, not so good defensively. Arsenal is pretty difficult after that, but I think just in general here for our Bowen owners, you probably look to keep him for now. Potential double game week on the horizon, and actually Bowen's potential double game week would be Southampton at home and Brighton away, which is actually pretty nice, isn't it? Small correction there, guys. Of course, West Ham face Liverpool away in Game Week 32, not Arsenal away. But anyway, Gibbs White is the top of the monitor list. I don't think there's any strong reason to sell him. Man United still one of the weaker defences in the Premier League right now, and I wouldn't let a performance against a lost-looking Leicester side change your mind on that one too much. So yeah, definitely a player who is safe to hold, at least for this game week. Cole Palmer in here as well, super interesting one. So he is still not training at time of recording. However, Chelsea don't actually play against Spurs until Thursday, so a week from the recording of this video. So actually, there could be a very good chance that Palmer is actually available to play against Spurs. And if you guys have watched Spurs versus Chelsea in the past, you all know that this game is usually full of goals. We also see Nicholas Jackson back in training now, which is I know people are critical of Jackson, but generally speaking, Jackson really does help the flow of the Chelsea team, the way they set up and the way they play football. So from a tactical point of view, Jackson being back is beneficial to Palmer. Now, of course, that is all useless information if Palmer is unavailable, or, you know, if Palmer continues his bad form, because despite putting up some really strong numbers here, 24 shots, 4 big chances, 2.89 XG in just 5 matches, and a decent amount of creativity there as well, it's not coming off for him right now. Now, will a break over the international break help? Will Jackson returning help? Possibly, but that's why Palmer is in the monitor section, because I don't think he is a definite keep even if he is available. But if he is available, I think you could make a strong argument to keep him maybe for one more week, maybe for more. Brentford, Ipswich after that. It's a possibility that you could keep Palmer at least until those double game weeks come in, game week 32, 33. Let's see what happens there. But Caldo Mitoma is here next. I think you can possibly keep him for one more week against Aston Villa, although, you know, he's not been doing amazingly, and you can probably find a cheaper asset that will do similar amounts of damage to Mitoma right now. Gordon is a potential player to keep. He's only out for one more week against Brentford at home here. In game week 31, he will be back and available against Leicester. And then, of course, we'll have the double game week, double home game week in game week 32 against Man United and Crystal Palace. So, actually, I think there is a small argument to keep Gordon, but he's certainly going to be lower down on the monitor list. If you can afford to bench him this week, I would consider it. At least if you are, you know, not wildcarding now or next week, I would consider just keeping Gordon on your bench. And of course, the sells, Foden, great fixture against Leicester, but we don't even know if he's going to start or not. Heung-min Son, a similar situation, not fully nailed right now, and the only goal he's scored for the last few months has been that penalty a couple of weeks ago. So away against Chelsea, looks like a good fixture. You would hope that he would start in that game, but who knows with Spurs at this point. It is not looking too good at the moment for them. And Dango, he is no longer in the starting 11 for Bournemouth. We've seen that for a couple of weeks now, and even against Ipswich, he is going to be a player that you are just going to have to release from your team, and we're going to suggest some replacements for you guys. Defenders that you may have, Gvardiol, yeah, definitely keep him against Leicester at home. This is a fabulous fixture for him. There's no way I would be selling a guy for one of the better defenses in the Premier League. In the best fixture in the game right now is Leicester at home, and with a bit of attacking threat there as well. So definite keep there. Gabriel providing a clean sheets pretty much every other game week. That's pretty good returns from an FPL perspective. So I would be looking to keep all Arsenal defensive assets. And Ait Nori, disappointing in the double game week. However, West Ham and Ipswich in the next two, these are good opportunities there for him to pick up some more points. Van Dijk is not really a player you have to sell right now. Everton at home is on paper not such a bad fixture. Of course, if you need to replace him with an expensive defender, that would be a kind of reason to sell Virgil, but no, I don't think you have to sell Virgil if you do have him in your team. There's maybe some more priority transfers to make. Similar situation with Aina. If you have other moves you need to make, Aina is fine to keep against Manchester United at home. As for Cucurella, I would be a little bit worried about Spurs scoring in this usual high-scoring game, but you never know. Cucurella could find himself on the other end of the pitch getting a goal. He's provided a bit of attacking value recently, although I don't know how sustainable it is. Robinson, he does have a minor issue. I don't think it is too serious. I think there is a good chance he does play in game week 30. It is away against Arsenal, but as we know, Arsenal do often struggle to score goals at the moment. I don't think Saka is going to be available for this game against Fulham either. So I think it could be actually a genuine opportunity for a strong Fulham defence to maybe keep a clean sheet. If Robinson plays, of course. Pedro Porro, rotation risk, playing for this poor Spurs defence away against Chelsea. I think this is a good time to just sell Pedro Porro. There's not going to be any double game weeks for him. Mikalenko is, he is also flagged in FPL, but I'm feeling a little less confident about this particular injury. I think he could actually be out for game week 30. Of course, we'll wait for the verification on that. But even if he does play Liverpool away, that's a pretty easy sell, a good time to sell with no double game weeks on the horizon. And Trent Alexander-Arnold also looks to be out for game week 30 and perhaps beyond there as well. So at 7.3 million, he is a pretty easy sell. So just like with Liverpool, I imagine Trent is leaving FPL teams as well. Sorry to rub that in, Liverpool fans. Maybe that was a bit harsh there, but it's time to move on. As FPL managers from Trent, I mean, not Liverpool fans. Let's just move on with the video. So this is the point where I ask you to please like the video if you wouldn't mind. I have been away for like over a week now, so this video is probably not going to hit many algorithms. So any likes and comments on the video are going to massively help me out. So I really do appreciate the support there. Of course, guys, do subscribe with notifications on if you want to make sure you don't miss a video, even if these FPL Mate videos aren't always hitting your algorithm. Massively appreciated. Let's move on. So who are we going to buy? Well, Mateta, we spoke about him already, putting up some really, really nice attacking numbers, 3.39 XG there, and a little bit of creativity as well. Great fixture against Southampton, double game week confirmed for game week 32, and a possible double game week in 33 as well. It is a very good time to have Mateta in your team now that we know that he is training. So, yeah. Definitely the first player on my targets list for forwards ahead of game week 30. After that, we have Alexander Isak. If you have sold him recently, it could be a good idea to bring him back into your team ahead of Brentford and Leicester in the next 2 game weeks. And of course, we do have that double game week, of course, in game week 32 as well for him. And Erling Haaland, if you want to buy him as a kind of 1 week punt maybe, or maybe even for the longer term with that game week 33 double looking really likely for Man City, then I think Haaland is just a player who generally we would hope to have in our FPL teams right now. Certainly if I'm on a wild card, Mateta, Isak and Haaland are going to be the 3 players that I would be picking for game week 30. And that's regardless of how the FA Cup results turn out. I guess if Haaland somehow doesn't have a double game week in 33, that might change things. But yeah, these are 3 massive targets for your wild card. So therefore, they should be targets really for everyone. Evan Nilsson comes in as a differential if you fancy him. And over the last 3 games in which he's started in the Premier League, but also the FA Cup, he's been putting up some really good performances, actually, and it's looked really impressive. Unfortunate not to get any goals in game week 29, but he is looking really, really hot at the moment. And against Ipswich at home, this is a really nice opportunity for him to go ahead and hopefully get some more FPL points for us all. Great option if you want to go a little bit cheaper and if you want to play the game a little bit differently. Marmoush is in here as well as a monitor, a high monitor, might I add. Again, a player I would probably consider for a punt for game week 30, but unlike Haaland, I don't know if I would like him in the longer term, just because of that slight rotation risk that he does provide in that Man City team. That Man City have a lot of top quality players, don't they? So you don't always know, but Marmoush coming in to game week 30 with pretty good form. It's a great fixture. No reason not to take a punt there if you're feeling a little risky. Longer term, that may become a little more techie, particularly with game week 30 and 31 so close to one another. So just be aware of that one if you are not wildcarding in game week 31. We've got Joao Pedro here as well. You could potentially buy him. You know, we've got a potential double game week coming up. Aston Villa and Leicester are pretty decent fixtures either side of Crystal Palace away. And he's a benchable asset at 5.6 million. And Chris Wood, if he is available, then you could certainly maybe buy him, but he's going to be a low monitor with that doubt around his injury, I think. Watkins at that price tag, if you don't already have him, I don't think I'd be looking to bring him in right now. High price tag, some mystery about his availability for game week 30. And yeah, we maybe want that 100% confirmation on the double game week before we go in on a Watkins, unless of course you have him already in your team. Wissa, I did mention before that he is a keep. However, if you don't already have Wissa, you probably look to move in different directions from here on. Wissa, for me, is a player that you maybe hold on to for 1 or 2 more game weeks, and he's probably going to be the guy being replaced in the very near future. He wouldn't make a game week 30 wildcard team. He wouldn't make a game week 31 wildcard team either for me. And if you are not wildcarding in the next 2 game weeks, I think you'll probably end up selling him in the near future. So to buy him, no. To keep him for 1 more week, maybe 2, Yeah, fine. And Strand Larsen, big haul, 2 goals in game week 29. However, what we do know about Strand Larsen is that return in game week 29 was his first in what, 2-3 months, 10 game weeks, something like that, since Strand Larsen last got a goal or assist for Wolves in the Premier League. So I don't know how sustainable it is. Obviously, it was a nice fixture for Wolves last week, but I don't think we can guarantee that will happen every week against Southampton. So, yes, we are going to put Strand Larsen in the avoid category. I think if you're looking to go cheap, Evan Nilsson and Joao Pedro would be preferable, particularly when we consider potential Game Week 33 doubles. Midfielders, targets to buy. Ismail Assar's got to be a top here. Weird one, really. Really good form earlier on in the season. A few people bought him in, including myself, and then he started blanking. And now he's come back into form again after I sold him. Pain. But that is FPL, right, guys? I'm sure a few of you guys can relate. But Southampton up next for the cheap Crystal Palace midfielder. Really good underlying numbers here with 3.84 XG in the past 6 game weeks. That's just 5 games, by the way, in the past 6 game weeks. And creativity to boot. So, yeah, lots of good reasons to buy Ismail Assar right now. Salah is a possible buy this week as well, if you can afford to do so. I don't think you have to buy Salah if you did sell him in game week 29. As long as you're wildcarding in game week 31, I think I would maybe take a risk and go 1 week without Salah, but no more than that. If you are not wildcarding in game week 31, pretty much just buy him, I think, no matter who you are. Cliver is also in here as well. Ipswich, West Ham, the next 2 fixtures. Really nice for him. Still definitely an option to buy, even more so if we see him in game week 33 having the double. But of course, even if you're looking for a 1-week punt, Sarr, Cliver, I think they will work really well for 1-week midfielders for game week 30 alone. So a few different avenues giving you reasons to buy Cliver. Bruno is a monitor, and I think he is a high monitor, and certainly you could go for him if you wanted to, but I don't think there's any strong need. He has been overperforming. We have got some pretty mediocre fixtures coming up. We definitely can't expect the performance against Leicester every week. Leicester are just the worst team in the Premier League right now. They're even worse than Southampton at the moment, unfortunately for them. And, we don't have a guaranteed double yet. It is possible, but it's not super likely. So, therefore, I think Bruno will go right here in the monitor section. You can fight me in the comment section about that one, I suppose. Eberechi Eze not really putting up the numbers of Ismail Assar, and therefore, with the increased price tag of 6.7 million, it's hard to justify Eze over Sarr. Would I double up? Probably not, because I'd want Mateta for sure in my team, and I'd want a defender. Munoz or maybe Henderson as a goalkeeper. And therefore, there's not really a place for Eze in, the top Crystal Palace transfer targets, I suppose. But still, you could do if you wanted to go different. Alanga is going to go down here in the monitor section. Again, pretty mediocre fixtures over the next 3 game weeks. I mean, Manchester United is all right at home, but if you're looking for a cheap midfielder, you're probably more likely to go for Sarr or Cliver or maybe elsewhere. Maybe look to the Newcastle guys as well. So, yeah, Alanga, great to own in game week 29, but if you're only buying him in game week 30, you may have missed the boat on that one. Of course, Alanga had blanked for, 3 or 4 game weeks prior to game week 29, so to expect it to happen every week, particularly against more difficult opponents, is maybe a little bit ambitious, let's say that. Bowen is also here. Not sure if I would buy him unless we do get the confirmation of a game week 33 double. The next 2 fixtures are okay, but then, they're maybe not buy-worthy fixtures. They're keep-worthy fixtures, but maybe not buy. And avoid Asensio until we get double game week confirmation and, maybe a little bit of fitness confirmation there as well, although I think he is going to be fine. But yeah, certainly Aston Villa players, we can wait a couple of weeks before going for. Game week 32 is the best hopping on point for Aston Villa players. Murphy, I would also give him 1 more week, get this Brentford game out of the way, and then maybe look to purchase him in game week 31 or 32. Maybe by that point, you might even be looking at Gordon as your Newcastle midfielder instead of Jacob Murphy. And we've got Luis Diaz here as well. Just a straight up avoid. I think that's a pretty straightforward one that most people will agree with. Defenders, top of the pops, Daniel Munoz. Yes, certainly. If you're buying a new defender for game week 30, he should be the guy to go for. Southampton, the double game week in 32, possibly in 33, and a player who is consistently shown he is super super attacking for this very, very strong Crystal Palace team that is not just looking good in attack, but also in defense. Gavardio, we spoke about, he is another player I would be looking to buy this week, whether for a 1 week punt or for the longer term, looking at Game Week 33. Gabriel and the Arsenal defenders, also players that I think would make really nice long-term holds for the rest of the season, really. So he is also going to go in the buy category. If you're looking to go cheaper on the Crystal Palace defense, Lacroix is definitely the guy I would go for. Slightly cheaper than Mark Gay and actually putting up better attacking numbers here as well. So yeah, if you can't quite afford a Daniel Munoz for whatever reason, and maybe you don't want to go for Henderson in goal, then yeah, Maxence Lacroix would be my preferred Crystal Palace man. Nice cheap price tag, could be pretty interesting. We've got a Newcastle man in here as well. Again, I would maybe wait until after Game Week 30 before going in on a Livramento or a Burn, but actually Livramento I think could be the new Lewis Hall. Tiny rotation risk when compared to the nailed on Burn, but I think Livramento probably plays every game for the rest of the season now for Newcastle as they focus on the Premier League. So he would be a really nice transfer target with a little bit of creativity there, as well as access to those clean sheet points. Kirkes is also in monitor, and to be honest, guys, Lacroix, Livramento, Kirkes, they're kind of roughly in the same area here. I've put Kirkes lower because he doesn't have a double game week in 32, but depending on your strategy, what you're looking for, actually Kirkes might work better for you. He's obviously been very creative, getting assists recently. He has been overperforming, it has to be said, maybe a little fortunate at times, but obviously, Bournemouth are looking great in attack, and Kirkes, even as a defender, is very much a part of that. You could go for Saliba as well if you wanted to double up on the Arsenal defense, but at 6.2 million, not really sure he is value for money. Milenkovic, you probably missed the boat on this one, so yeah, I'm going to put him in the avoid section unless we get confirmation of a double. Even if we do, we're probably looking to buy him around Game Week 32 rather than now. Virgil van Dijk, okay player to own right now, but again, not a player we'd be looking to move towards. I don't think. No double game weeks for Liverpool going forward, and 6.4 million, pretty expensive. And Cucurella, yeah, I don't think I'd buy him. Okay to keep. Don't think he's a buy. So Alisson has got a head injury, but he is going to be available for Game Week 30, we believe. So for that reason, he is going to be a keep for this game week. Maybe after that, you would be looking to move him on, as he is quite expensive in the goalkeeper category. We've got Sells here as well. I think you would probably keep him if you have him in your team. And even though I will never recommend goalkeeper transfers, Flecken, Pickford, if you desperately needed to sell goalkeeper for whatever reason, I guess I would be okay with selling these two, given, you know, the fixtures coming up next for each of these players. If you're looking to buy a new goalkeeper, Henderson and Pope, probably the top two targets because they have that double game week in Game Week 32. But honestly, if you're on a wild card, maybe you're looking at goalkeepers, you only really need one of Henderson or Pope. And the other guy, you know, you just try and cover Game Week 34, the blank Game Week 34 with your other goalkeeper. We'll know about that after the FA Cup games this weekend. Jose Sarr and Alisson Becker, players to avoid. I think, again, these are players that probably missed the boat on going for these kind of goalkeepers with no double game weeks ahead. And those are all of the players we are going to talk about in today's video. Quite a lot of players spoken about, but if we missed anyone out that you would like to talk about, let me know in the comment section. If you've got any questions at all, let me know what your rough chip strategy has been and will be. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, do subscribe if you're new around here. We are back for videos now for the rest of the week and into next, ahead of the Tuesday deadline, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye bye.